everyone, welcome to One Year Homeschool. I am Ivy and this is a homeschool friendly channel. So I am currently updating one of my YouTube channels. I was originally using it for content about just like healing, my healing journey and things like that. But what ended up happening is that my venture of homeschooling took precedence over, my schedule. And so that just ended up turning into something that I was really passionate about. I ended up not making too much content about myself per se. I just went through my channel and noticed that there was more things pertaining to kind of like a mix of my lifestyle, my children, my homeschooling experience, and just some different things. So I just kind of wanted to narrow everything down and make the channel make sense. So the reason why I chose the name One Year Homeschool is because that's literally how this journey got started. So my children, I am a homeschooling mompreneur of 2 children. I have a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old. The previous year that we just did was the year of 2025, 2026. And my oldest daughter was in the 7th grade and my youngest was in kindergarten, and we did finish up those years. We're going into our 2nd year of homeschool where my eldest daughter will be in 8th grade and the little one is moving on up to 1st grade. So I chose One Year Homeschool, that name specifically because this whole journey started with just taking on 1 year at a time. When I decided that I wanted to pull my children from public school, I ended up letting myself, I sat down with myself and said, I need to take this 1 year at a time. This is not something, we're used to that term 1 day at a time. And for most things, yes, that is true. But for something like homeschool, I really didn't want to take them out and then only give it like a week or 2 weeks or maybe a month or 2 months and decide that maybe things were not going exactly the way I wanted them to go and then just re-enroll them, because I feel like there was, with anything that we're doing that's new, any venture that we're taking on that is new, there are going to be challenges and there are going to be times where we doubt ourselves and where we second guess ourselves and assume that we should just revert automatically to what we were doing previously. And the thing about it is I didn't want my obviously if things were completely hectic, out of control, and it was an absolute no. So yes, there were exit doors and exit strategies that could have cut the year short. But initially I wanted to give myself at least 1 full year to decide whether or not this was something that was going to be for us. Going into the 1st year, I did experience a lot of challenges. I experienced a lot of just self-doubt. Before I started early because I knew that this was something that was going to require a lot of my attention and my focus. So I did go ahead and start early in the summer with getting things situated. I'm talking about the previous year before I get into the current year. And so I started around, I want to say June or July, just basically checking in with the requirements, checking in with what homeschool program we were going to use, just seeing what was offered to us. We've recently moved, so now we are trying to get acclimated with a new a new school district and things like that. But the previous one we were in was the system that I had grew up in, so I was familiar a little bit more with that school system because I had gone from kindergarten to 8th grade with them. So my children were in that same I love homeschool. That my children were in that same school system previously, and so I was slightly familiar with just some of the requirements, but I wanted to know more, so I did get in touch with that school district. I did have to meet with the superintendent. We didn't meet in person, we did phone meet type of thing, and just get more information. They did have requirements as far as like standard learning, curriculum, having the curriculum that's going to be issued at home follow alongside what would be standard and acceptable for that grade that the child is in. And so I had to align my curriculum that I was choosing with that, and it had to go through a series of approvals before I was able to start. So it wasn't just something where I was just like, hey, I'm gonna homeschool, and then, you know, the year started and I just stopped bringing them to school. We did not do that, guys. I don't suggest anybody looking to homeschool does that. So what we did was we got in touch with that district's superintendent, and they gave us like the steps to follow. We ended up going with Power Homeschool. It is a international homeschool platform where anyone from anywhere in the world pretty much can enroll with them. It is not free, but it's also not expensive, and I won't get into those details here. If you guys want to know more about that, specifics, you know, you can leave it in the comments and I will address it. So what we ended up doing was we chose that specific homeschool. It was a school, like an online school base that my cousin had used when she was homeschooling her daughter. She had homeschooled, I think, for 2 or 3 years, and then when her daughter reached high school, she sent her back into public school because that specific online school system is accredited. It does have its accreditations, and it does put together a transcript for your child. It will follow them along like what they are signed up for. It will make sure that they are on track for what, you know, they would be learning in each grade, so that when they go back into school, if you do decide to send them back to school, it will be a smooth transition because that school will be able to pull up all of the documents and the work that your child has been working on from home. And so that's called Power Homeschool. And it's a Celis Online. I'm saying Power Homeschool, but I'm like, I feel like there's another name to it. So it is a Celis Online. I'll just show you. This is one of the certificate thingies that was printed out at the end of the completion of a course. But yeah, so it's a Celis Online, but it's the overall name of it is Power Homeschool. And I will just briefly, just so you don't have to, just in case for anyone who wants to see it here, because I will show you these other things. This is what the transcript looks like. So this is my kindergartner who was going into first grade. This is what her transcript looks like. It shows the credits, the classes and courses that she took, the grades that she got, and then now she's in progress with, we're moving on to the next grade. And the reason why hers says first grade instead of kindergarten is because, so when you're setting up with Power Homeschool, you would take the child after everything is no, let me back up. I apologize, because you do have to give a full comprehensive curriculum that would go through the approval, and then once the school board approves it, then you can start with it. So I did start with the Power Homeschool, just looking at the curriculum, making sure that it matches up with what the standards are. So usually in most states it's like we're in Massachusetts, but usually in most states it'll be like math, reading, and writing, and something else. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's written down so that you can see what your state specifically requires for each grade. So then we took that requirement, signed up, enrolled with the online, paid like the tuition fees were not expensive. And then, like I said, if you want to know specifics, I can make another video about that. And then we signed them up. So taking just one student at a time, I'll use my kindergartner who's going into first grade as an example. So for kindergarten, we picked the classes, like, so if it was just I'm just gonna, you know, reading, writing, math, things like that, we picked those courses for kindergarten. Once we like opened it, because it'll let you as the parent kind of go in and sample the course to see, you know, what the level of lessons and things like that are looking like, just to kind of see where your child is at, to see if that's the course that you actually want to enroll in. Once we did that, we noticed that a lot of the kindergarten things for those subjects were too easy for my child. So she is not by any means like super advanced or anything where we had to like, oh, this is not, we have to go so far up or anything like that, but we did have to mix up her curriculum. So we did have to take some things and utilize the kindergarten level, and then some things we had to put her on a first grade level, and it lets you kind of mix and match. And then I sent that in. So that's basically what we did. So one year homeschool is more so just like me saying, you know what, I'm gonna lock in for 1 year, and if I absolutely do not like it at the end of the school year, I will re-enroll them into a school of our choice. And then if after 1 year I enjoyed it and it was an amazing experience, and I want to go ahead and try for year 2, that option would also be on the table. And so that's where 1 year homeschool came, that's where I came up with that. And so at the end of the year, although, there were challenges and things that came about, it was nothing that was so crazy that it just couldn't be worked through. It was challenges that kind of put the desire to homeschool. My video got interrupted, excuse me, my daughter was calling me. So it was nothing that was super challenging to the point where they couldn't be worked through. It was just like things that came up that there were reasonable solutions to. And so even though it wasn't easy and I didn't expect it to be easy, I definitely did find that I enjoyed it a lot more than I, struggled with it. Even though there were some struggles, I definitely enjoyed it more than I struggled with it. And we were able to complete a year, and it felt like a rough draft year. It was just the 1 year, and now we are going in for year 2, wiser, more experienced, and, more ready, and just like determined, and with new goals in place and all that stuff. So that's the exciting part. And I wanted to document this here because one thing I do remember is that I did document my first pregnancy with my first daughter, because it was literally just something that I wanted her to look back on later in life. And I didn't know whether or not she would, but it turned out that she did. Even to this day, she's almost 14, and she'll still go back when she feels like she wants that piece of comfort, and she'll watch the vlogs of me pregnant with her. So I always like to throw that out there, because sometimes we assume that something that we want to do is only going to be so small and maybe not worth us doing it. But when we actually do it, like sometimes you just have to go really based off of your passion and what your intuition is telling you to do. So that way later you see the reward. You might not see the reward right away, you see it later. And so I definitely want to just leave this here as a documentary, yes, for my children, so that later on, I'm not sure what year they'll go back into school. It's possible, yes. It's possible, no. We'll see. We'll just kind of play it 1 year at a time. But, I also wanted it to be something where if there were because I do see a lot of other homeschooling families who have helped me along the way, and I'm super appreciative of just those different videos that people are posting, just kind of encouraging families, giving tips and bits and just things like that. It was very helpful. It felt like a support, like an online support, thing that definitely helped me along the way. And so I wanted to also serve that purpose in my own unique way, not because I expect my homeschool to look like someone else's, but just because I would want someone else who is inspired to homeschool to see that it doesn't have to be one way or another. It just has to be something that works for you and your family. Your children should be learning, having a great time, and just really like, you'll see the growth, because you'll see them doing things that possibly, like I can make many videos just talking about that, just like the different things that I've observed and noticed that has changed, the difference in them being in public school and how they interact in the home while being in public school versus how they interact in the home as homeschooling children just on the regular and stuff like that. I can make plenty of videos to kind of like go over that. It's pretty cool to see. So I also wanted to just show a haul, because I did go to Staples the other day, and one of the things that I do really appreciate is like, this is the time of year, we're now in August, where a lot of parents are doing homeschool shopping. Oh my gosh, homeschool, I love homeschool. Where parents are doing school shopping for their children, whether they're in private school, whether they're in public school, whether they're in homeschool. whatever, schooling or the way that they receive their education. There are a lot of parents going shopping for supplies and for things like that, things that they'll be needing for their children's success throughout the year. And so we went to, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is because there's a lot of stores that are offering discounts right now, that have different deals and things like that, just to support families. We went to Staples. There's a Staples nearby. We went to Staples, and there was a teacher's discount, not because I advertised myself as a teacher, even though I am a home educator, which has some credits, but it's not I'm not by any means, advertising myself as having an educational degree to be a teacher or anything like that. And I did specify and mention that we are a homeschool family, that I am not a school teacher. And so they were still, they still honored and respected that. And they were kind enough to let us in on some of the discounts for our supplies. So we did get some school supplies. I also wanted to just show you, I'm gonna do a little quick haul. That's basically what this video is about. It's just more so like an introductory video. We're going into year 2026-2027 school year, and I know that most parents are excited to send their kids off. For those parents that work long hours, and then that's like the setup of their household. We are getting ready to head into our second year of homeschool and being a mompreneur. So yes, I do own a business. That looks different for me, and I'm excited to share with you guys what that looks like for me, and just encourage anyone who is on their own personal journey, who is just kind of trying to figure things out along the way, because I did have to do some scheduling adjustments. There are some adjustments that had to take place with the way I run my business in order for me to make this possible, and I look forward to getting into those videos with you guys, just sharing that aspect of this journey. But for this specific video, it's just an introductory, just saying hi, introducing myself, wanting you guys to know that I'm here to make videos not only as a documentary for my family, but videos that would also be helpful and serve you all as well, parents, viewers alike, things like that. So if there are certain videos, certain things that you want to hear about, leave it in the comments, and I will look forward to making those videos for you guys. So today I'm going to do just a quick haul of the things that I got from Staples. But before I do that, I will show you a little clip it of what we did last year. So last year I had these binders, and I just noticed that I didn't get new binders, so I do have to go back to the store because I need binders for this year. I don't know what I was thinking, getting all this other stuff and forgetting my binders. So because each year should have its own binder, we're not putting the next year stuff in with this one. So this one is my kindergartner's binder, and I just printed this out. I have my printer over there. I just printed this out. This was for last year. And then I had just a bunch of things. This was just keeping track of some of the things that we did. This was her transcript from her kindergarten year. And then I gotta fix this. Sorry, give me 1 second. And then this was the printout. So after they complete each course, and that's the thing that I really like about, Power Homeschool, is that each course is broken down into a lesson plan that covers the entire school year. It's designed for them to start when most public schools are starting and finish when most public schools are finishing. But should your child need to go longer, if they're, my older daughter, she's a little bit behind on hers, so she did have to kind of finish up her courses throughout the summer. I think my youngest finished her last course July 6th, and that's just with whatever days we had off, things like that. We just made them up in the summer. We kind of, but she completed, and then my oldest daughter kind of, hers got dragged out a little bit, but it was a rough draft year. It was the first year, 1 year homeschool, right? So we're taking it 1 year at a time. The goal is to do better and finish closer to on time so they get their full summer this year. So this kind of just prints them out at the end. Oh my goodness. Why? Sorry guys. At the end of each lesson plan, they get a little certificate that just basically says that they're done. So if this, is this coming off as I'm turning it? Yes, it is. Because I'm like, there's no way. I think it's because the binder is extremely full, and this thing is not really, I don't know. but I don't like how it keeps doing that. But yeah, it prints it out. It just kind of shows you, you know, what the child completed. We did like we started September, and then in January I did like a little test with my kindergartner just to kind of see where she was at, what we still needed to work on. Funny enough, I put that we definitely needed work with her shapes and stuff because she wasn't identifying the shapes and things like that. And the next day, I didn't know because I don't know how the curriculum exactly breaks down, but the next day it went into the lesson of shapes. So it was like, I don't know, it was just like perfect timing. I thought that was pretty cool because it was not planned. It was not, you know, it just happened like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. This is a list of some field trips that I wanted to take throughout the year. I think we only got through like a couple of them. We didn't go to every place on that list, so we can definitely reuse that list for this upcoming year or whatever. And then just like different things. I won't show you the whole binder, but it's just like different things. She had like color sheets. Whenever she finished her work, she could just work on like coloring and things like that. I am a member of Super Teacher. So this, it's just a binder with all her stuff. I'm not gonna bore you with every single thing that we have in here, but I basically had 2, and then I had 1 for my 7th grader. So I'm gonna be creating new binders for the new school year for them, and I will be storing these, filing them away just somewhere easy to access. So should anyone from the, you know, school district or whosoever we're working with, you know, whosoever we're signed up with as far as like the area that we live, should they need to see certain things and just kind of look over what we've been doing, we are obligated to keep track of what we work on so that they can see just where we're at, what we're doing, making sure that we're actually doing what we say we are going to be doing, which I have no issues with. So yeah, so I will store these somewhere in an easy find place for me, and then I will be starting them new binders. And then I also created a binder for myself, which is my teacher's what is this, teacher's grading and answer key. So I am, like I said, I mentioned I am with teachers, Super Teacher worksheets or something like that, and I can basically go on that. I think we have to pay for as well. Everything that we're paying for, it's not super expensive as far as like certain online resources, but that I'm able to print out whatever worksheets. I can go in and just like pick the grade that I'm working with, 1st grade, kindergarten, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever, and then all the way up 8th grade, and I can print worksheets, and then my children can work on them, and it prints an automatic like answer key for the parent, or the teacher, the educator, and then I put that in here. I store those in here, and then I also like have like my homeschool applications. So every year you have to fill out a new application, you know, with your intent to homeschool, to let the district know that that's what you're planning to do. Then you go through the steps and requirements that they have you do, and then upon approval you begin your lesson plan. And then I always, this is not required, but it's something that helps me stay on track, and I love doing it. Every year I will make like the goals that we have for that year, and I break it down, like the goals for my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter, and the goals that I have for myself. And one of the goals is creating the content online and just having that as something to track and to help us, you know, stay accountable and things like that. And so also I always do like my intentions, I did my homeschool intentions last year. This is my homeschool intentions for this year. That's just something I just love to do. It helps me, you know, whenever I'm feeling discouraged or feeling like I do not have the best homeschool on the planet, I will go back, I will look at those things that I put for myself, like my goals, just reminding myself why we started in the first place. And it's super helpful, and it does help me get back on track. It does help me refocus and just regain confidence, reassurance, all those things. So yeah, so let's go into the haul of what I got. So this is last year's homeschool bin, and I'll show you. I keep it very simple. It's disorganized right now. It is not organized at all. I usually keep it organized, and I Usually, like throughout the week, it kind of gets a little messy, even though I tell my children not to go in there. I go in there and take out stuff. They still go in there, which is fine, because sometimes I'm working with one student and then the other student's like, oh, well, I need something else to do because I finished, and then they'll go rummaging through the bin to pick out their stuff. And the bin gets all cluttered. So every week I usually just go in and just reorganize it because it helps my mind do what it needs to do. But I got from Staples a new bin. So this is for this year. So the one that I have for last year, I am going to just organize it and keep all of last year's things in there, and I'll just keep it very, simple. It's not fancy. I by no means have like a personalized classroom for the kids yet. Like I said, it's just 1 year at a time. I don't know where we'll be 3, 4, 5 years from now, but we definitely have been making progress, because the last year I was in another apartment where I was in by myself with my children. I recently got married. She married, y'all. I recently got married, and we moved to a bigger apartment. So, I don't know when and where we want to purchase a home, but when we get to that point, I would like us to have extra space and an extra room that I could design as my classroom. So I will definitely be praying on that. If it is the Most High's will for that to happen for us, it will happen in its time. But as of now, I am more than grateful for what we have right now. I'm working with what we have, and I am by no means mad at what we got going on. Okay, I'm by no means comparing myself to other homeschools. I've been watching some families start from like their living room. I've watched some, because I have one lady in my mind that I'm thinking about, but I don't know how to say her name, and I don't want to embarrass or disrespect. But I basically had watched that family since I was even inspired to homeschool, even before the pandemic, but I hadn't started doing anything yet. I think I only had the one child at that time, and I was super inspired by her, and she started out and it was just very like rough draft, and now I'm watching her years later and she's like doing collabs with other people and just like getting into the educational field and just doing all these amazing things. I'm extremely proud of her, and I love the fact that she kept going, because it was definitely one of the pushes that helped me to be like, okay, you can really start from where you're at. There's no need to compare yourself. There's no need to be discouraged based on someone else because you don't know anyone else's story. Just the same way you guys don't know my story. Even if I tell you, as much as I tell you, you still didn't walk my shoes. I didn't walk your shoes. So whatever you got going on, trust that it is the blessings that were designed for your life, as I'll trust that what I have is the blessings designed for my life. So this is where we start in, and I am prayerful that we will, grow as a family. Excuse my living room and all that stuff, because we gotta clean up. But I will just show you really quickly. We have this is the board we used last year, and it just kind of helped us. I would put on like our daily Bible verses and our schedule for the day, and just kind of like a morning message type of thing, and my oldest daughter would read it in the morning and we would get started. It was super helpful. And then I just added like this is new. Well, so it's kind of messed up, but this is new. I just added these because my children are learning sign language. They do know a little bit of sign language, but they're learning more sign language because their stepfather, my husband, is deaf. And so we sign with him. And then this is, I don't know how much of this I will be using this year, to be honest with you. I bought it. I thought it was super cute and it was on sale. I do not know how much of it I'll be using, but these, I have my 8th grader going in and my first grader going in. And yeah, that's basically it. Like, we don't have anything fancy. We utilize this desk right here, which is not a desk. It turns into a desk during the schooling day, but it is our kitchen table. And I did want to use more of my living room, but I didn't want to take over the whole living room because that's kind of my husband's sweet spot. So I will not, take over that too much. But we have everything that we need right here. It's super convenient. It's super easy. I do not like super complicated things that make my head spin. It's just like, let's get to the point. Let's do what we have to do. And that's really it. So I got some of these stuff. These are the things that I got from Staples. I got some of these. I don't know. And it's so funny. I really did not do this on purpose, guys. I promise you. If I did, I would just tell you because, like, it'd be no big deal. But I'm just now noticing that these are the colors of the Jamaican flag. My family's Jamaican and my husband's family's Haitian. So I did not pick that up on purpose. I just picked these up because I was like, oh, I'll find something to do with them. So I got that. I got more of these because I use them for this, mostly. Like whenever I'm printing out certain things, mostly. I'll use them for other things too, but I mostly use them for when I'm printing out certain things that I want to store in the binder. They're very helpful. They're clear, transparent little folder paper things. Last year also, my sister, my children's aunts did get like some flashcards and stuff from my youngest daughter. My sisters, after they completely didn't understand why I was choosing homeschool. At one point, they were just like, you know what? She's doing this thing. She's on it. She's on top of it. She's doing what she has to do. Yes, it's a little rough. It is not perfect, but she is trying and she's determined. So we might as well get on board and support her. So my oldest sister went out and got like flashcards and things. We did use them a little bit last year, but we didn't use them too much just because yeah, we just didn't get around to using them. But when she would come over and hang out with the kids, she would use them and kind of help them as well. And it was mostly for my little one. And this year, I got some of these from Staples. They were on sale. I don't know what I'll do with them yet, but I will figure it out. I got a complete workbook for my first grader, and it was pretty cool. It just had like a lot of things, like repetitive things review that we did last year, and then just also some new stuff for her to work on. So whenever she's like done with her online courses, because the online courses each day is designed to give them just enough work for that specific class, each subject, and then we go in with our supplements like workbooks, worksheets, assignments, projects, things like that. We supplement that for them, but the core curriculum is given to us by actual educators who have graduated school, who have made curriculums for schools and purposes and things like that. So we are not just doing this on a whim, just making it up as we go. No, it's a very supported system that kind of, you know, helps us get our feet in the door. And so this, my daughter picked this out, the little one, as one of the coloring books. I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hate these kind of coloring books because I don't like the pages. I don't like that gray, it looks like recycled trash paper. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. Even as a kid, I never could stand it. I just preferred like printout sheets on white paper with the coloring design that I wanted to color. But she picked it. We'll see how much she uses it throughout the year. I needed a new iPad case just because the other one broke, and so I did get a new one. Last year we ended up having to use the iPad to do the online classes, and that's only because my youngest daughter spilled coffee on the laptop that my husband got me for my birthday, and I don't know why on earth, but he did not put insurance on that laptop. So we went the second half of the year with no laptop, and they just basically did their schoolwork on the iPad. And then this year he did go ahead and buy me another laptop. He replaced the laptop and got me a rose pink one. It was pretty, okay. And then so I got this one from my older daughter, and it is grade 6 to 8, because she definitely is like a mix. She's not necessarily on 8th grade level in a lot of things. She has a lot of things with reading and math where she's on 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. Maybe not so much 5th grade. I'm not going to do sis like that. I'll say like 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. So yeah, this is a sweet spot. 6th to 8th grade, pretty fair. And then she looked at me and she was like, Mommy, if you don't know the things in there, then that's a problem. I'm like, is it though? Because who's finna come check me, boo? Okay, like you need to know those things. So I did tell, and she said that because I told her I was gonna get her a math tutor, because at some point I check out. Like There are so many of their work that I know, I remember, I recall, and I'm great with, and I'm able to help them with. But let's just be honest, school for me, 7th grade, 8th grade was a long time ago. And so wherever the work starts getting too hard and I don't comprehend it, I no longer comprehend it, I will get them a tutor, and the tutor will help them stay on track. I got these notebooks here, and I got some new markers for my whiteboard because the other ones, they still work, but my kids kind of, when I say my kids, more so the little one, because the older one will be like, it's not me, I don't destroy things. It's usually the little one. My oldest daughter wanted mechanical pencils. I don't know why. I hate mechanical pencils, but I did get those for her. I like to sharpen my pencils old school style. And then I got this because it was just really cute. My older daughter actually picked it out. I thought it was super duper cute. I will find a reason to use it. I might just like use it for attendance, where I just have the sheet on there month by month and take attendance every day. Because one of the things about homeschool, you do have to keep track of attendance, what you guys are doing, each day and the hours that you guys school for, so that it makes sure it matches up with what is required. And then this I got instead of my daughter having a backpack. The little one has a backpack, but the older one, sorry if I'm talking too fast, guys. I just really didn't want the video to be too long. My youngest daughter does have a backpack. My oldest daughter cannot stand backpacks. So I went ahead and got her something like this. And she can hold it on her arm like that. She can hold it, but then also when you open it, hold on, let me put this down. When you open it, this is what it looks like. So because I am a mompreneur, there are some days where we are not in the house. There are some days where we are learning on the go, at least 1 to 2 days a week, and they will come with me to my studio, and they will work in the conference room or just nearby in the studio, and they will work on schoolwork. So whenever that's happening, we pack up the backpacks, we'll use this for the older one, and we'll just put in like sheets that they need to get done for the day. They'll bring the laptops and the whatever to do the online stuff, and then they will also have like the work that they need to do, the supplemented work that they will work on. Okay, so that's basically it. These are all stuff from last year, so I need to really get in here. And some of this is like my business binders with like, stuff keeping track with my business. I just kind of put that there because while they're working on stuff, I'm usually working on stuff. But that's really all I got for now. I'm pretty sure that I will have to go back. I already see one thing that I definitely need, and that's binders for this year, because I'm not going to use the old binders and collab work in there. I'm not doing that. Those binders are complete and done for last year's stuff, and I'm going to get new binders to keep track and record of this year. And then whatever else is missing, I will have to sit down as I'm reorganizing things. I'm sure I will be able to come up with a list of things that I need to go ahead and get. And yeah, so that's basically it. I just wanted to show you guys that and just come on here and formally say welcome to this channel. Welcome to 1 Year Homeschool with Ivy. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that you guys come to stay, hang out with us, and journey along this year with us. Just see all the cool things that we do and just be a part of this experience with us. And as far as, I'm just going to throw this in here as like a little bonus tea. As far as the social aspect goes, because that is the #1 thing that we get from people when they hear the word homeschool. So they have different like sports clubs and things like that. And then when you're with whatever district you're in, they are supposed to offer you some sort of resource that connects the child to those social clubs. For example, and every district is different. The one we were previously in, is similar to the one we're in now, but I still have yet to learn more about the one we're in now. But basically the child is eligible to play sports with the school, that district that they live, you know, they're able to play sports with the school. They're able to do certain things. There's certain things that they're privy to. And so that kind of gives them a chance to be social with peers, their peers and things like that. My children last year did meet other homeschooling kids on the playground, which was pretty awesome. And so yeah, there's plenty of ways that they, you kind of have to design that social aspect for them. But there are benefits to both sides, and like I said, that would have to be given in another video, breakdown another video. But I encourage you guys to kind of just leave some suggestions of what other videos you guys and other topics you would like me to touch on, because that will also help me to not only make it the documentary that is for us, but also to make it valuable to our viewers as well. So I thank you for stopping by to watch this video and to spend time with us here. I hope that you all have a lovely, wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video.